everybody.
Hello. We're here again.
It's us, and this is we've twinned with the burnt orange.
Colour coordinated today.
Unintentional twinning. So this is a collab vlog with a difference in that this bit's us together, and then the end of it you'll have a different bit with a different person's finished one. Something like that.
Something like that, yes.
So yeah, stick with us, it'll make sense. So Christine and I decided to sew the same pattern while we were away together. Do you want to tell what pattern it is?
Yeah, we're sewing the Belle dress, and no, it's not the Disney Belle, it's the Style Arc Belle dress. Now, I've had this in my stash for over a year and fell out with it. I don't know why, but Sam has convinced me to make it, so we've been doing it together in Anglesey.
And we want to thank Bex for kind of getting us noticing it, because she sewed it recently. Do hop over to her vlog and have a look, and she everyone at her social tried it on and almost everyone looked great in it, so we were like, okay,
maybe we need to do this.
Yeah, and it will look different on us both, because although we're petite ladies, we've got different body shapes, so
we're using very different fabrics.
Yes. So we had a good look. We did some research. We went on Instagram, didn't we, and had a look at some other people's makes. There isn't many, you have to say. No. And we found a sew along, which we've already watched. That was our exciting evening viewing together.
A very good sew along, I've got to say.
So we will link the sew along below. I have to say, I don't often get pattern instructions printed, but I did, and I'll just show you. That's it. So that whole first page is the sizing and the finished pattern, and it's got some good hints up there, but then you've got some instructions for sleeve here. This is doing the front bodice and yoke, and then all that's left on the back is how to do the pockets and fit in the dress. Now that's we know that Style Arc instructions are scamped.
Yeah, I've not even read them. I have literally done this dress from the sew along, so that's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
So far, so good.
And I've popped back and read the instructions that go with the sew along bits, and I can say now, I'm not sure I could have done it with just the instructions.
And what did it end up? About 4 or 5 hours?
So I've got the breakdown. We started at 12 o'clock, and it took us an hour to cut out all our pieces. So we both cut the paper pieces out.
Oh, say about the pattern, come on.
Christine brought her sleeve in, and I had my sleeve, and we'd had quite a bit of chat about grading out at the waist and things like that. We'll put the picture in of the difference between the two sleeves. It was like I'd cut a size 10 sizes smaller than yours.
Yeah, mine looked huge.
But yet we'd agreed on a similar size.
Yeah, but my pattern mine was printed off at home and paper pieced together.
And mine was PDF stitched and printed on AO. So I looked for the measurement square on the one I had done. I couldn't find it.
Mine was already cut out. So so that was challenge 1. So we did quite a bit of holding patterns up to bodies, didn't we? The skirt version of Christine's piece gave us a clue that something didn't feel right, because it was sweeping the floor. It was very big.
Yeah, and we know that as petite ladies, sometimes dresses are long, but if you look, it's meant to be sort of mid-calf, which to me means I know it comes to my ankle, because there's that 5-inch difference, because they're normally, a lot of companies draft for like a 5'6", 5'7" person, so I know I'm looking at a 4-inch-ish, so that's the difference between mid-calf and ankle. But this wasn't ankle, this was like sweeping onto the floor, and there's a dog there.
Sorry about that dog, just sat on my sewing.
No, have that. Carry on, Sam. We went, your skirt feels massive, let's have a look at mine. So we held the skirt pieces up to my back to check there was room for gathering, and there was. So we decided to go with mine, didn't we? And we held a bodice piece up as well. There's a lot of pattern pieces.
It was an intense cutting session, I've got to say.
It's longer for me because of the fabric I chose and the orientation of the fabric and the pattern placing.
Very true.
So if I wasn't doing that, I probably could have done it about 45 minutes, but for most people, the speed I cut out is probably like an hour to an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So there's 11 pieces. One of the real challenges about the pieces is knowing which way round they go. So for example, this looks like it could go that way round or that way round. And the challenge is the writing is actually printed vertical. So you have to start looking at things like that says place on the fold. So that gave us the clue of that one.
Yeah. I looked for the grain lines.
They weren't
to try
always
and
easy to
help.
find.
They weren't always no, they were there, but
Yeah.
very well hidden. And the other thing, while Sam's getting some more pattern pieces out, is that Style Art give you your cutting size and the seam allowance as well. So to try and find your size was not very easy.
Now with PDFs you can print a layer, so if you know that you're going to be one size or two, you could just print those layers.
Yes.
But obviously I had mine AO printed and I didn't know at that point, so I needed them all. If you haven't printed in colour, you can at least try and follow the coloured line, but it is tricky.
Yeah, it's not the easiest to cut out if you've got them
this
all
one
printed.
was a really hard one because is it that way? Is it that way? We had to do quite a bit of puzzling because this was, and then we realised, but then place on the fold that way round or that way round. But because if you've got like I had, which was a fabric where the orientation really mattered,
you need to figure
get that wrong, and that's going to look really silly. Style art writing then is upside down if you have it the right way round.
Yeah.
And you might even want to get arrows and draw which way up or something on
Good
them.
idea.
And I've gone for the longer sleeve, but without the shirring in the middle, just the elastic at the bottom. But I've actually skipped a step in the instructions because everyone who watches knows me. Christine's been experiencing me as we go along, and I'm going, no, not doing that like that, because I don't know yet, because sleeves are often too long on me. I've got short arms, well, it's in proportion with my body, otherwise I look like an orangutan. And so even though they want me to put the elastic in there, I need to wait till I put it on and then decide.
Yeah, they want you to put the elastic in the cuff before you've put the sleeve.
We then spent 30-ish minutes doing shirring, didn't we? Or shirring, depends on how you pronounce it.
Yes, my machine would not do it.
I got 7 o'clock in the morning, was it?
At 6:30 in the morning, I was up bright and early, and I thought, right, I'm going to have a go at the shirring while it's quiet and then it's not eating into the day. My machine seriously needs a service, to be honest, but it really did not like it. So I decided at that point, I was just putting an elastic channel in the back. I wasn't doing it. But Sam came to the rescue.
Now, caveat, I've never done shirring before. And so I was glad I had Christine there, because Christine has done it before. And I think you've even made a vlog about it, haven't you?
Yeah.
So I knew I was in safe hands. So I was like, come on then, Christine, I'm going to try it. If it doesn't work, we'll just stop. So it took a little bit of a while. So if you don't know, I've got a Janome Memory Craft 4800. It's about 17 years old now. It's a top loading bobbin. And so we didn't hand wind the elastic on.
No, my wonderful mum, who taught me to sew too many years ago, showed me the trick where you just wind a bit of the elastic onto your bobbin, put it on your bobbin winder. Don't put it round the tension disc, just hold it with a slight tension in the ball of your hand with it coming through. And don't do it really fast, slow it down and just machine wind it onto the bobbin.
That definitely works. Now my fabric's quite stiff and Christine's is a lot drapier. So when we did it the first time on my machine, we saw it working and then it stopped working and we realised the auto tension had kicked in.
Yeah.
So we had to turn that off. So I was on longest stitch length, highest tension number.
Yeah.
And it then worked, and in between that I tested it on a drapier bit of fabric and it worked. So we realised that because of the thickness of the stiffness of the fabric, it needed max on everything, didn't it? So then it was on to the sewing, and we went from about 1:40 for 2.5 hours, was it? 2:43, 44 o'clock-ish.
Yeah, I stopped about 4 because I had to take the dog on.
And so did I, because we stopped at the same time. Yeah, so about 2.5 hours. And in that time, we got the bodice done.
Shall we show them our bodices? We're quite proud of these ladies. So
it's a lot of steps, isn't it?
Whoop. Oop, where's that shirring gone? Come here, we're proud of you. Shirring at the bottom, gathered in at the yoke. And then the yoke comes round to the front with some gathering. I scratch my head with that. Sam to the rescue.
There's
lighter fabric, but this
there's
fabric,
my bodice. So
beautiful that.
if you haven't seen my previous vlogs, if you're a new viewer, this is a duvet cover that I bought in the Sow in Dunelm. It is Natural History Museum, and so one side of the duvet cover is this beautiful floral and the other side is the fern. So I decided to play with the two pieces because I thought they go well together.
It's beautiful, that, Sam.
I'm really happy. Yeah, seeing it in the cold light of day now. Because it was like yesterday instead.
Yeah.
But I have this piece here.
I was just going to say, you're going to tell them about your little design
So
feature.
when we were stopping, I said to Christine, I need to try this bodice on before we go any further. And I couldn't get it over my boobs.
I've
Almost
managed with
could.
mine,
Yeah.
but it's snug.
Yeah, almost could, but it felt like about an inch or so.
Just not quite
And
there.
at the waist it could, which is, it's normally the opposite way around. Normally here fine, waist not, because I always grade out at the waist. But it was fine at the waist, but obviously you've got the shirring at the back to allow for that.
Yeah,
and
you've got some.
Yeah,
I was going to say wiggle room, but it's shearing room, isn't it?
stretching room. But here it was not covering the boobage area, was it? Well,
No.
So I was like, I'm not giving up
You were
on this.
flashing a bit, weren't you?
I'm not giving up on this. We've come too far. We've concentrated too hard. I mean, this is a double yoke waist here, like a strange foldy over weird
so
technique.
you've not only got you've got a yoke at the top,
Yeah,
a yoke
a
yoke at the waist.
And
It was a lot of
there
sewing.
was, we both did some unpicking on that waist
Yeah.
yoke, didn't we? And now I'm
Yeah.
looking at that, I'm going to have to look.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, no, there's got to be a solution to this. And I went back to the days of pre-breast reduction when I had to adapt clothes that I had. And I said to Christine, I often used to put a panel down the side and sometimes use belts on dresses and things.
Yeah.
So I was like, what about a panel? So cut it out, basted it in, and bingo.
Yeah. And I said, do it in the fabric, the contrast fabric that you've got on the waist, because then it's a design feature, not a disaster.
And it's worked.
It looks
I've
great.
got the
I love
coverage,
it.
it looks great. And the arm was a bit tight on me, so it solved the tightness in the armhole as well. I would say that's not in the sew along and not in the instructions is where when you turn through like these waist yokes,
Yes.
it's really bulky in the corner. So we've snipped
the corners.
Yeah, and we're pretty sure that if we did this again, we'd grade the
I was just going to say, the thing that
Yeah.
not in the style arc instructions or the blog that we watched is grading seams, which to me is just something that you do automatically.
Well, particularly when like here, you've got 3 bits of fabric
Yes.
there.
The seam needs grading.
And here in this burrito, in the yoke, you've got again 3 bits of seam in there. So and I actually clipped the neck because of the
on
stiffness
yours,
of my fabric, even though it didn't say to.
No, but I don't understand why.
Yeah, when the finished details on the inside, there's so few exposed seams on the inside.
Yeah, it is very well finished.
Yeah,
off.
really well finished. But
lots of little bits of top stitching detail on it.
But yet not snipping curves or grading seams. So interesting. So today we are doing the skirt and
we're
the
finishing
pockets.
them, Sam.
We
We're
are.
powering through, and we're gonna.
Interesting pocket way to do it from a pocket, different from anything we've ever done.
Yes.
So we're interested in how that's going to go. And we'll be attaching the skirt to the bodice, and again it hides all the skirt seams inside this yoke piece as well, which obviously right, we better crack on then, haven't we?
Let's
We'll
do
have to
this.
Right, we've not done, but we need to come back, don't we?
Yeah, we're getting there. But we're really frustrated with something, so we thought we'd pop on and show you.
So it's a different pocket technique that neither Christina or I have ever done. And we said we'd go with it, didn't we? Because you've got to try these things. If nothing else, we need to try them for you. So you
Sorry, just trying to find my one pocket.
Stitch the front pocket piece to the fabric like you normally would. And go back and you
straightforward, match the notches, no problems.
Then you stitch the other pocket bag over, so it's got the overlap, so it's not attached to the back fabric.
Yeah.
And then in the final sort of piece of work, when you're stitching the front of the dress to the back of the dress all the way down, you have to make sure you only catch the back pocket piece in the back fabric, because if you catch both, you'd sew the hole closed. However,
which is fine in theory, but we've both done the same thing on one of our pockets, and we have got openings. We've not sewn them together, but, and if you can see there, the back doesn't line up with the front and it's all bagged out, so I've now got to undo it from the bottom to there and straighten it out and redo it.
my clue was the bottom of my skirt on that side didn't line up, but on the other side lined up perfectly. And I was like, Christine, how can I be that much out? Both at the waist, all the waist lines matched up on both sides. So I said to Christine, and then that's when we hung, and look, same on my fabric. So it's not type of fabric, so the fabric hasn't stretched out. It's not that one of us has been inaccurate or the other one. This is something to do with this technique.
Not a very good technique in my opinion for putting a pocket in.
So I would definitely next time do my normal pocket technique.
Yeah.
We've both got our seam rippers out, and we're going to sort that out, because that's too bad to even for like this is like, it's a no.
Yeah.
We'll be back soon with the dress with the sleeves in to say how it's going. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
It's day 3, but we finished the Belle dress on day 2, didn't we?
We did finish it yesterday, yes.
Yeah.
Late on for me, but I managed to get it done.
And it wasn't 2 solid days of working. There's been nice bits in between, but we thought we'd hop on and give our final verdict on the sewing experience. And then you need to stay on at the end, whether you're watching it on my channel
or on mine,
and you'll see our individual reveals. But we're not going to reveal it all together, so you have to watch both episodes. So yesterday was pockets, skirts, attached to bodice, sleeves, buttons,
buttonholes,
hem, all of those bits, which, although it sounds like a lot of those were familiar things.
Yeah.
So sleeves, I did the way I always do them. Did you?
Yes.
Yeah. When you have to put the sleeve together, so it was just inserted. There was gathering at the top, so it was easy to fit it in, wasn't it? It wasn't a problem. And we did the elastic casing when we'd finished. I know in the instructions it says to do it early on, but I'm glad I left it to check I was happy with the length.
With the length, and I am too, because I shortened the length on the sleeves because mine come above my elbow.
Yeah.
Proper summer dress.
And it didn't affect it doing it then. So if you like the look of the length and you think it'll be okay, you can do it where they say. If not, doing it where we did it made no difference.
No.
The placket on the skirt was fine, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was fine.
Pretty straightforward, because it was an attached one. You didn't have to attach a separate one.
Yeah, you just folded it over. I put interfacing in mine because mine was a lightweight viscose. You didn't bother.
I didn't put interfacing at any point in mine because of the fabric for the duvet.
Yours was quite structured fabric anyway,
so it didn't need it. And it's coped absolutely fine with buttonholes without the interfacing in, because that's often the reason you need an interface, is for the fabric to cope with the buttonholes.
Mine definitely needed it.
I went for only putting buttonholes where I needed them and stitching the rest of the dress together. There's 2 reasons for that. 1, I'm lazy. 2, we decided 50 minutes before we was going out to afternoon tea that I could get mine finished to wear, didn't we?
Yeah, because it was just a beautiful dress and it's fitting with the surroundings of where we were going to Chateaubriand for our afternoon tea. I just thought that is the perfect dress to wear today.
So when you hang on to the end, you can see photos that we took of me in it at Chateaubriand, which is great. But it did result in, I tried to still sew calmly, because otherwise that's when you make mistakes. But there was a point where Christine was sewing a button on and I was sewing a different button on. And I was having to get dressed while Christine sewed my hem for me.
Yeah, I was hemming hers while Sam was getting everything else ready, her undergarments on.
Sound off my boots.
Yeah, and then she just had to slip the dress on and we were straight out the door.
Yeah.
And we were there, bang on time.
And I took scissors with me in case there were still threads. But luckily I think I've managed to get the majority of the threads. Right, while Christine's recovering from sneezing and coughing, the reason my hands are down here like this is because I'm stroking a dog. And it means that the dog's then not getting upset. Oh! So, overall, the dress was labelled as a medium to challenging sew.
Yeah.
I would agree.
I'd say it's challenging.
Yeah.
More of a challenge, not medium, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because somebody's been sewing, made a few simple dresses, and then think, oh yeah, I'm an intermediate sewer. I think they'd crash and burn with it.
Yeah, and I think if it was done by a different pattern company, then you'd be walked hand by hand, held your hand all the way through it, which you don't get.
It wasn't a difficult sew, it was a meaty sew. There was a lot of
sewing. Lot of techniques, a lot of bits where you needed to get it really spot on with those plackets and folding the yokes round. So they're all doable things,
but very precise.
Very precise. Also, think about one of my waist yoke plackets did not look as good as the other, so I just made sure that was the behind one.
Yeah, just so
there are ways
to be perfect all the time.
No, and I would say I'm glad I sewed it with somebody because it just kept me going. Because I think otherwise I would have just
we'd have both
put it in the whip pile and
we'd have come back to it and we'd have finished it, but to do it all in one go on your own.
Yeah.
Respect to Bex if that's what you did, because oh my goodness, it is a sew and a half,
and it's brain work the whole time. I was having to think really carefully at every step because I like to make sure that I understand what I'm doing, because otherwise I can't then do it in the future. And some of it was what, and then you'd watch it, and then it would.
The sew along was indispensable. We wouldn't have done it without it.
Couldn't have done it without that. So, not going to say any more because what's going to happen now is you'll either see me or Christine with a final reveal and our full verdict on whether we'd make it again, what we thought of it, and all of that. So here we are at the final reveal for the Belle dress. It's next to me. I'll zoom out in a minute. Make sure you go and watch Christine's to see her reveal. But here is my reveal. So I'm just going to zoom out. Okay, more of the dress and less of me. That's better. So this is my first ever Belle dress. It's my first ever double waist yoke. My first ever odd pocket insertion, which I'm never doing again. And I'm just thinking what else it's my first ever of. I've done a yoke at the back. And my first ever shirring as well. So what do I think? I love it. I love the fabric I chose. I feel very gothic in it. In a minute I will insert a picture over the top of the full fit. Which I wore to the afternoon tea, which Christine and I went to. I'm pleased with the length of the sleeves and the elastic at the end. I'm really pleased that I went for the contrasting fabric. I think this fabric would have been too much without this breaking up. It also helps to accentuate my waist. On the back, I think doing the yoke like that and then the shirring in the same means that it doesn't draw too much attention to it, so you don't get that ruffling. I like the length. I love the way this green here on the yoke just pops around on top. And of course, my very specially inserted side panels to make it bigger. So of course, I'm sure the question you all want to know is, would I make it again? The answer is yes. There is a slight caveat to that, which is I want to get it reprinted and check the sizing, because although I managed to make it fit, I'd rather make it fit without having to add a side panel in. So I will be checking that. But apart from that, yes, I am already dreaming of making it in a drapier fabric. I've already been looking at other duvet covers because actually I really like the crispness of how this has all gone. I love that I finished it in time. I don't know if you can see the buttons here. So these three are real buttons, and then from then on it's not. I love that I managed to use the piping from the duvet down the front placket of the dress. I realised I couldn't use the bit I wanted with the buttonholes because it was at the bottom of the fabric, but then I used the side, so I'm really pleased with that as well. So all round, I loved it. I'm not sure I'd have done it without Christine, and so having a friend to sew something tricky with, look at that pattern placement I've managed there, having someone tricky to sew something with has worked really well. Actually, I really took my time to think about pattern placement of the fabric as well, so that's what I was saying about the cutting taking longer, so that I've got this here and this here, and the same on the sleeve, making sure like I've got like the amazing moth here and on this one as well. So overall, this has been a hard but really joyful sew, and thank you, Christine, for being with me on the journey. So watch this space for more to come. And if you haven't already, make sure you go and watch part 1 and part 2 of our Anglesey trip, because we didn't just sew this, we sewed lots of other things as well, and you can see all about shopping, going to Wales and sewing in part 1 and part 2 of our Anglesey getaway.